Yo, it is 12:59 a.m. on June 4th, 2023. It's technically Sunday. It's almost 1 a.m. And we have a line of storms coming in from the north and west. This is, I believe, going to be Lightning Lab number 3. So, I have the iPhone facing the direction in which the storms are coming, as well as the GoPro is already downstairs and on. I am going to try to do something different where they're going to both be on at the very beginning of the combined video. So, I plan at some point to change the direction that the iPhone is looking. Not really pressing down yet. Kind of waiting for. Like, I'm making contact, but before I start doing this stuff that I normally do to test as far as lightning, that being talking, which I'm doing now, this kneeling kind of lunge type thing, and this kind of where I'm pressed into the ground. I'm shifting my weight into this leg, this thigh, hip. One of my thoughts about that after, watching a number of the videos of me doing this and just kind of having my thoughts about, while recording these, is that sometimes, honestly, Yahweh controls everything. There's not like any rule set that he has to follow. But I do think he chooses to do it in a way which is logical, so that if seeking to find something from this, that it's possible. And some of it feels like almost like a charge type thing. I've talked about how at the 7 churches, at the 3rd church, one of the things that you get is the hidden manna and a white stone. And I've even said that, manna, I think it's a biblical concept, but in certain video games, or I guess, that's a very strong lightning off in the distance. Mana is what you use to cast, but I don't think that this is casting spells or something. But mana is like you have a health bar and a mana bar, and if you're gonna do certain moves or certain, if you are gonna cast, I guess if you're playing a video game like Diablo or World of Warcraft or whatever, RPGs, a lot of RPGs, you have like a mana bar, right? And so it speaks of the hidden mana. And, one of my thoughts, I'm not drawing a direct thing saying that this is like, where you have a health bar and a mana bar, but it does feel as though sometimes it's like, there's almost like a charge thing. I either am expending it or I had to build it, or whatever, or an energy thing, like in, I don't know, various whatever, other games or whatnot. But I'm thinking more. I keep seeing strong lightning that's not way up in the clouds. That whatever it looks like. It's I saw on the camera earlier, the webcam that looks down 59 south from Buffalo Speedway here in Houston. It basically looks towards uptown. You see way off in the distance a really strong cloud to ground strike, like 25 minutes ago, and these storms were pretty far away at that point, so they are moving relatively quickly. I'm not sure exactly how this is going to play out, because it seems like the models have no clue what they're like. The models that I can see that neither the HRRR or the NAM 3K, like HRRR wasn't even registering that this was here when it was already here. So there are obviously some issues with that. Like as it was over College Station, it wasn't recognizing that there was storm activity, like not nearly that much. I mean, it was saying that there would be some cells, but not nearly what was already there. And anyway, so I think the models tend to have difficulty grasping, at least around here, what's going to be happening exactly. They can give you like maybe an idea of what is possible to show up, and then and maybe that's it for all sorts of places. But I noticed that here specifically, just because I pay attention to here a lot, it seems the models, at least the ones that are built into Radar Omega or that I can see, kind of the National Weather Service throwing up stuff. It's usually like, it seems rather difficult to forecast exactly what's going to happen. Or forecast like with certainty, or not exactly what's going to happen. That is difficult, but maybe more than other places it might be a little more difficult. I'm currently working on it's starting to rain. I'm currently working on the lightning compilation. Once I see any lightning in that direction, this camera's going to start facing that direction. And again, I haven't really been pressing down, but I'm currently working on the lightning compilation, where I'm going to take the obvious examples from, at least like the idea right now is from videos in 2023, just because I have so many videos of storms, like it would take a long time for me alone to go through and do everything, and I might take some examples from older stuff, but from 2023 videos and make a compilation video with some of the best or most obvious examples where I'm doing something and you see a lightning. I do think right now, before it gets too rainy, I'm going to go down really quickly. I'm going to grab the fan that I used to cool the GoPro down, and I'll go put it back when it stops raining. So I'll be right back. All right. Adjusting the camera to here. I heard thunder coming from kind of that direction, and I know that the GoPro will do a good job picking up, stuff in that direction. Probably. I also did not. I didn't even actually take the fan because it wasn't raining hard enough. I adjusted the GoPro a little, but because it wasn't raining significantly, if I remove the fan and it just doesn't rain, and it stays, it's pretty warm and humid outside. I think it would just, overheat. So, in order to avoid that, alright, I guess this will be me starting. So the one thing is the more chaotic, like, first part of the storm. There doesn't seem to be as much order as far as the wind picked up. That's for sure. Oh man. I don't know if you just heard that, but that was the thing that I'm talking about where, like, could be my IT band or something, but like once a day, something will happen where something separates or something moves over something, and it's like my hip radically shifts, and that was it. I mean, I think you could see it lightning pretty much in the same spot. I think that might be over downtown, but like there's like a little micro thing in. And that was me popping if I was in there. And now I can go get the go get that fan. Hold on. Oop, the water isn't flowing in. I heard it. Press down really hard on the right side. I'll also say sometimes it feels as though even just the changing of position, it's like, as I've spoken, how my friend said, be careful with yoga because it's like energy moving through your body and you don't know what you're opening and closing. But sometimes it feels like when I'm doing these, like, I don't know, I might be completing a circuit or something, but I let off and then you see something. Or maybe the circuit isn't completing and the final step is to like let off for a moment or change position or something. And then you see something. And that's a really common theme as I go through the timestamps of when the lightnings occur. It's like, that's what I was saying, like every stage felt like, you could see something like at every stage of that. There's just like a gallonifer or daddy long legs or something. So I just threw the towel at it. And another thing is, it does seem like obviously there's lightning. There is just lightning. It's a lightning storm, right? I understand that part. I'm not unaware. But you seem to see that there's an obvious uptick in significant instances when I'm doing the types of things that I'm talking about. Or when I'm doing, honestly, really, like if you just look at me, it's like when I'm doing, you could base it off what's going on with me. But that certain specific things seem to be more conducive to getting some kind of lightning response, such as this, like pressing in through here, or on, or this. And you can see little micro, like I drop, and then you see the flash, right? And it's like when I drop and I catch myself, and like the tensing is when you see the thing. So I feel like there's, I think there's a spiritual element, but it does seem like, probably something electrical, right? That would make sense to me. You want to talk about an electric universe or something, well. And like as I'm getting deeper into the hold or the muscle contraction, or when I tense really hard, there's like, just statistically, I would guess based on what I can see that yes, there is in fact some kind of connection. Oh man, I think there's a really bright lightning right when I did that. Don't do this. It's not. And sometimes an Instagram pops up, and I feel like if I touch it. Also, interestingly enough, there's a lot of times when I'm adjusting the iPhone that there seems to be lightning. There's some other things that there seem to be increased amounts of. Like I do a thing like that clearing my throat. There's quite a number of those where it's like, oh, that's, huh. In fact, probably in like 2018, one of the clearing my throat things where there's a really obvious at the same time lightning thing was like the one that really got me thinking, like, is this possible? Because I was so in sync. And then it was, around 2021, I'm working on getting in. It's the little adjustments that like make a big difference in getting in to these muscles. So when you see me doing this with my toes, it's like me adjusting so that I can really like get in into certain muscle groups. Also, I still think we're in the like more chaotic phase. So I think in a bit when this chills out just a bit, we're gonna see maybe some more spectacular. Like it's already been good lightning, but that usually it takes some time after the more chaotic part for the really more spectacular lightning, at least around here. I just readjusted in my foot and went back in it, and then you saw it again, like instantly. But obviously, again, it's a lightning storm. I think there's going to be lightning, but it does seem. Like I'm just slowly sinking more and more into the muscle right now. I think that happened right as I got up. You know what I'm saying? Right as I like pushed myself up. And then the next lightning after that seemed to be when I like deep exhaled out. Like this maybe seems to be the most consistent. The this and then It happens a lot as I'm doing one of these adjustments or any kind of micro movement. Or even when I release. Seemed like in some of the older videos, I would just, I mean, it's not, it seemed like I would actually go through like sets of the workout, and I think that's less likely to show something because of how, you know, you kind of like, or I'm doing a set, and so I try to get into it and perform. Notice how I'm doing this, try to perform whatever it is I'm doing. But like with the Bulgarian split squats, instead of focusing on like trying to engage, I mean I'm doing that in the set, but like really like if I'm just focused on doing like one, like you saw, where I'm really engaging certain muscles, it's like a different thing than just getting, you know, however many, 15 done in a set, you know? Like what I'm doing here is I'm really getting deep in, and I'm trying to engage through my feet here, grip the ground in a way that it engages the muscles into the deep part of the knee here, which seems to be the thing that most triggers the lightning. I mean, that and talking. I think it's Yahweh triggers and lightning, but you know, you can use me as that, as like something to show here, you know, on video. Like even if I'm just showing some kind of science that isn't, it's like not well known, right? Or that people wouldn't believe unless you were able to show them. Unless you were able to show them. Unless you were able to show them, my voice cracked. So I made a joke, but so that's the goal here. because I don't think it's difficult at all for Yahweh to do whatever lightning associated with what I'm doing. It doesn't have to be like, what I'm saying is, it doesn't have to be something I'm doing. It's just Yahweh's doing it, and he's like, he knows what I'm going to do, and he's like, all right, I can put them in a rhythm together, or I can link those things together. It's not hard for Yahweh to do anything, but that one's not hard at all. I hope Yahweh can do something just overly spectacular in this one, so that I can add it to that compilation. I'd really like the compilation to be strong, and I think it is currently pretty strong. But hopefully in this video, we can get some more really good examples that be able to put in the compilation. Already got quite a bit to go over, but more compelling stuff is not a bad thing. more compelling instances that appear to link me to the lightning or other storm activity is not a bad thing. Like in this one, the wind kicked up. Like I'm sure watching it over, it's gonna look funny the way I'm like. I think I said something right before, like, okay, this is where I'm gonna start, and then like I start and like the wind just. Is that a timing thing? Well, if you're an infinitely intelligent being, you could just time what I'm doing to the storm's doing, and if you want to show people that you clearly are an infinitely intelligent being. Yeah. It's also like, I think people look for rules and like laws, like natural laws, right? But Yahweh's a spirit, and like he didn't have to. It's like I feel like once you have knowledge and power over everything, you have to comply to like the laws of nature or whatever. No. Especially if he created them. No. As I can start talking. Yeah. There's enough times also recently where I've been like, should I start talking? And then lightning. And I'm like, okay, yeah, it's clearly one of the things. It's also biblically just an obvious thing that Yahweh does. I think the whole point about being on the throne of Yahweh is like kind of what I was saying, where it's like this infinitely intelligent being is like, look, let me communicate to people through people. That's generally what he does through his narrative, right? And I don't think that goes away. I think you just have to, like, there's a lot of people pretending that it's him. And so my point is, I should be able to show it. And then I think when I'm able to show it and it's really clear that, yeah, that's what's going on, there's like someone comes and does the thing, like the false prophet in Revelation. It's like, if I'm doing lightning stuff, it's like, it's so obviously compelling that it's going to cause a problem, then there's probably some false prophet that comes and does something to like sway people the other way, but it's allowed. Seems how the narrative goes to me. That's what it looks like. I've also noticed a number of churches recently have been struck by lightning in the United States and like burned down. Does anybody notice that? There's like one in Florida and one in Ohio or something. There's really cool lightning in that direction. And it's like, I'm not going around striking down churches, but I can't even get, Patrick Kelly at West End Church, or, I can't even talk to Joel Osteen, or that I know of, or Nick Nilsson or whoever at Lakewood, or name a church. It's like, first of all, one thing that's really important that seemingly the person who's conquering at the 7 churches of Revelation does is holds to the name Yahweh, or holds to the name, and at the end of the whole, by the 6th church, Jesus changes his name and has a new name, and the whole point with that is, yes, it's Jesus, but even Jesus means Yahweh is salvation, and if yeah, if it also means he is salvation, or he saves. Yahweh saves, or he saves. The short version, Yeshua, means he saves, whereas Yoshua, you add the hey, and it makes it Yahweh saves, right? But if he's going to be doing the saving, and Yahweh is the Savior, as it says in Isaiah, 40-something, 50-something, somewhere in the 40s, maybe 43, that he's the only Savior. And there you go. Makes a lot of sense. Also that Jesus is Yahweh Sidkenu from, well, he's the righteous branch, right? And the righteous branch, even in Judaic thought, is the Messiah. And from Jeremiah 23, 5 and 6. And that character is Yahweh, very clearly. Yahweh Sidkenu. Also noticed when I started talking about Yahweh, lightning kicked up. I mean, I'm going to say duh, but or the types of lightning got pretty interesting, or are pretty interesting, so maybe it's a little hint. There hadn't been lightning for a moment, though. Okay. I mean, I think Yahweh is a good sense of humor, personally. Like, even when you see me doing this and I'm not into it like this, just me adjusting my foot like this is, I'm like planted in the ground with enough force that I'm engaging certain muscles. And what I'm trying to do is like engage them in the right combination so that when I do this, it's like I can feel every muscle group that I'm trying to engage down the back. Because sometimes if I don't do this, I can't engage certain like muscle groups, or they don't engage when I get into whatever. I'm really engaged right in here and down at the foot. Oh, that feels great. I've still been doing Bulgarian split squats and and just squats and stuff every night. Really, really trying to strengthen my legs. Definitely feel like it's working, and I can feel it like opening up. Like I have a greater ability to access inside the joint now of my knee, which is one thing I'm wondering is the people that I talk about, you know, for example, Alessandra Ambrosio, that have like a strong right eye. There's more of that lightning flirting. Alessandra, hey, yo, what's up? Anyway, I'm wondering, like, am I gonna see that at the same time their eyes are opening up, or is it only gonna be some people, or what? 'Cause I have a feeling that's part of this. That, like, if my right eye opens up and I do have a right hand, and either they're with me and, like, that proves it, or they're against me and it's like, I have the sword side now, and they have to throw up a shield. So I guess we'll see what happens with that. But I don't think we're that far off at this point. If I just keep working on the right side of my body and developing and stuff, I don't think we're that far off from some kind of shift, some kind of change. Oof. I don't know, you can't really outwardly tell when I'm really deep into the muscle, or into every muscle group, but this one. Like even here, I'm standing like pressed in decently hard on the right side, though I'm also putting some weight on the left. Not really going to be able to tell if there's a lightning doing that. Also, I'll say this, I don't think this like goes away. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think this is like, oh, it just for a little bit in 2023 this is going on. It's like, it's been going on since, for sure on video, since at least 2018, right? And so, so anyway, I don't think it's just going to go away. Again, Yahweh, I think, has a pretty good sense of humor too. So here's a thought. I keep saying like, since talking seems to be increased lightning when talking. I see a lot of conservatives like riled up about all these like LGBTQ alphabet soup afterwards, whatever things. It just keeps getting longer. Like, okay, you know what I mean if I say LGBTQ, okay? But I keep seeing like conservatives and Christians, I don't know, same Christians that I think are going to these churches that like I can't even get the pastors to say the name of the God that they follow. So, but part of me thinks that, I mean, is that the Nicolaitans? I'm guessing, or the people from the first church that are like seemingly pretending to be apostles or something that aren't, or anyway. But I keep seeing all these like conservatives, Republicans, whatever, angry about like LGBTQ, rainbow flag stuff, and it's like, instead of like spending your energy on that, like I'm a young Christian male, and like there's not a system for Christian, like a young Christian male, to like, if I want a virgin wife who has not slept with someone yet, it's like essentially, Team Red, conservative Christian evangelicals, like, good luck with that. You know what I mean? There's not a system that's created to help that. Nor, you want to talk about being an ally. I think I'm a decent ally to, Team Red, Team Blue, and the rainbow. Whatever. You know what I mean? And like I may be talking about conservative whatever, but I'm actually trying to solve a problem that I, as someone who am like a young Christian male, like, why don't, instead of focusing on, I don't know, gay people's sexuality or whatever, lesbians, LGBTQ, the rainbow people, can y'all focus on like helping like a young Christian male like myself? Like, there's no place like past school, and it's like school just crams people together and socially peer pressures. It's like a great way that the system has broken people down and like socially peer pressures women to give away their sexuality in like a young age, like without thought, because it's just like part of the social, the like dynamic, and like, there's no system that Christians have created to like remedy this, or society, and like, to the rainbow people, I don't think I've been anything but like kind or whatever, even though I feel like I'm under attack by certain people who would claim the rainbow side. So just, I'm just saying that's what I feel like. The same thing with conservative, same thing with blue, pretty much every group of people, I feel like, I don't know, I'm not the one in the wrong and that I've been wronged, but very publicly, even though people are pretending it's not. But like, can y'all fix this or something? I mean, really, because it's going to be an issue, and since I brought it up however many years ago, and I'm only articulating it better and better, and like, I'm seeing people complaining about LGBTQ stuff, and I'm going to be honest, if you're a Christian, God is not going to be like, oh yeah, you tore down the LGBTQ flags, good job, guys. He's going to be like, well, did you help your young Christian brothers find like Christian wives for like that weren't whores, or that didn't like have like wild, like wild periods where they just like gave away their most intimate moments, probably filmed it to like random guys who are then going to beat down, like if I was to marry someone like that, my ego or have some kind of check over my ego, right? I mean, for me, the whole like Stephanie Justin thing has made it so like it's literally, I believe I was attacked through a video game, and Hideo Kojima is like trying to taunt from Japan, like is one of his things recently. Like the imagery is clear, where it's like playing God. One day you will die. It's like, I'm not playing God. Yahweh exists. Whatever gods you believe in, they don't exist. They're just lower entity demon spirits. Demon meaning less than a deity in actuality. And I don't know, I guess they're pissed off that they lose their authority to Yahweh, who's made everything anyway, and who actually like fixes all the problems and who destroys death and all this stuff, you know. But I really believe I was attacked through whatever went on with Stephanie Justin, Hideo Kojima, and that like this character of Quiet, and it does seem like the art associated with Stephanie Justin like does seem somewhat associated with Alessandra Ambrosio, or at least it's hinting at it. And like, if there's enough resources to attack me through a video game, like a corporate video game or something like that, I think there's enough resources to like remedy the problem and make it okay for me, right? I mean, that seems reasonable. It seems like an alright thing to ask for. And like, again, I don't think I could ever trust like one relationship. You literally have to make it up for me. This is why I think like, it seems like the person who conquers at the seven churches, like, is probably associated with Jesus on Mount Zion and the 144,000 virgins. Now, I can understand that if you like corporatized a honeypot, like, whatever the sacrifice to idols thing is, seems to be like corporatized honeypot to attack me at my sexuality from a video game that I've been playing since I was a kid. And again, Hideo Kojima looks like he's taunting me from Japan, like, someday you will die playing God. I'm not playing God, Yahweh is God. If I'm the one who conquers at the seven churches, I'm just, as Jesus was, allowed to sit on the throne with him. And so, the issue is for people who would do stuff like this, there is a God, right? There is a intelligent entity, more intelligent than humans, certainly, that, like, you're attacking me for believing it, or for whatever. I don't exactly know the reason why I was attacked. Again, I think the whole, like, it does seem like this most recent playing God thing post that he made, where it's like, this is a way you communicate in 2023, right? It's you take a picture and it's an image, right? And you don't have to put words, but there's words in the image, like, oh, it's just a song that he's like taking a picture of an MP3 player with this song that's playing, but it's like, it's meant to communicate a point. Duh. Right? Yeah. And so the point that it was like, the title was like playing God, and then the subtext, or, it was either the name of the artist was playing God or something, and then the title was remember one day you will die. And it's like, well, if I'm the person on the throne, like, if I'm the one conquering at the seven churches, I don't think so. But death, if I am that person, it seems like in my time, while I'm here, death will die. Because that's the whole story of Yahweh. That's the good news. That's the blessing. That's the gospel. The evangelion. Which, no, this is not a giant Ava mech suit that I'm like battling fucking battling angels or something. So for Yoon Ambush, this you seem to be really into the Evangelion art, especially recently. It's not that, just FYI. Like anyway, my whole point is there should be a way to remedy the situation that I'm going through in 2023, except there's not. Like, if people don't even engage it. So this is why I'm saying, like, hey, whatever conservatives, pretend Christians, whatever. Are you not a pretend Christian? Okay, then help me to stop being so like pointlessly angry at rainbow flag people. Like, whatever your issues are, you're doing more service to the Christian faith or to whatever the thing is that you probably want if you're engaging what I'm saying here, right? What do you think I'm making up that I don't believe in Yahweh? Or you think I'm like some kind of secret Muslim? I wouldn't believe a fan fiction. Trust me. So anyway, yeah, I'm just here in Houston, right? And like I'm saying this, and I'm pretty sure people are watching, and they're just pretending they're not, and there's some kind of something around my digital footprint which doesn't allow me to actually see the reality of the situation. I mean, that's what I get every inclination that's the reality of it, and that's how I've been operating for a while. But in any instance, even if that's not the case, I think I can push it to a place where something has to engage, and I can make it so compelling, you know. Well, Yahweh can make it so compelling through all this that like it'd just be impossible to ignore, and like Yahweh can make this way more difficult for everybody. And you know, my guess is not everybody agrees with going down whatever I'm saying, and he does make it a lot more difficult, and that's part of the events of Revelation. Because the idea of the kingdom of heaven is a singularity where death is destroyed. So Hideo Kojima, my plan is to actually engage that singularity and go to that. Now, you know, even you're welcome to repent. You know, change your mind. That's what that means. It's not some kind of weird, like, it's not some kind of like arbitrary religious term. It literally means change your mind. If I make more sense out of reality than anything that like is being said elsewhere, probably reasonable to go down that path. So I do think that there is a singularity in which, like, death can be defeated and is defeated, and a better world is created. And the snake, actually, not really his head's cut off, he's more like stepped on. So I even think the symbolic, like me planting my heel and like, you know, that seems to be what a lot of this, me doing this stretch and like prying my knee open is. I feel like I've been hit by some kind of venom on my heel because I stepped on the head of a snake or something. If I'm going to use some symbolic language. Was it the "don't tread on me" snake, or was it a naga or something from Southeast Asia, or was it some dragon from elsewhere? You know, blah blah blah. All of them. I don't know. also think, I'm looking at it and like, even just like using the resources that Christianity has now, the resources could be used better to like do the things even more so that Jesus was talking about, just plus also to make a better reality. And like, it's not, right? Which I'm gonna guess at some point it becomes so obvious. Like, does the Pope have authority? Well, the Catholic Church has said there's a papal bull that literally says that you can't say the name Yahweh in the liturgy. Okay, that's a problem. You can't say the name of the deity that you're following in his worship service. That's insane, right? Do you want to say what I'm saying is insane? That's nuts. That's obviously farcical and like, do you have any authority at that point when you're making calls like that, or you're allowing calls like that? I mean, I know it was before his time, but come on, man, you got to change that. That one's so obvious, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling how like the Catholic Church hasn't changed it, other than very early on, wolves got into the church exactly like Jesus was saying would happen, and it's it's not actually what it's claimed to be. Which, yeah, that would make a lot of sense to me. So it does seem like the more chaotic part of the storm is over, but that we're at the kind of more ordered part, and the lightning is kind of, at this point, has been seemingly interacting with things that I'm saying, more so than things that I'm doing. Because again, I think the things that I'm doing part, I'm not necessarily sure. It's like, I'm not sure if it's like an electrical circuit thing. I mean, there could be some component of that, but I think it's more that it's Yahweh. Just like, again, tethering or tying to me what's going on with the storm, so that these obvious things that I'm saying about, like, I don't know, various different denominations of Christianity which are getting major and obvious things wrong. Like, how can any church say you can't say the name Yahweh, or Judaism? It's like Hashem. No, you don't follow Hashem. I mean, technically you do follow the name, but you follow Yahweh, and Yahweh is the name. You get it? Like, in the Old Testament, when they did this with one of the titles of Yahweh, they did it with the title Baal, and eventually Baal becomes a completely different deity, and Yahweh is like, don't say that name because it's become something so different from what I am and what I'm asking for, right? I mean, that appears to be the pretty obvious narrative, like by the time of Elijah, right? By the time of Eliyahu. In other words, Eli, my God, Yahoo, Yahweh. All right, we're at an hour and 23 minutes, and we're going to keep going because it's still raining, but I've also found that kind of the shorter videos are... I don't sit there for... They end up going up faster, I can get them done faster. It's not that if there's nothing going on, then there's no reason to be recording everything. That's what I'm trying to get at. But having faith and patience, like, as I've said in previous videos, Yahweh seems to save some spectacular something for the end or near the end or something. I mean, it's like the sense of humor is like literally laughable. I find it funny. I mean, come on. I couldn't see everything, but I could see like I could see some lightning bolts in that direction in a way I hadn't seen before tonight. I mean, it's just funny to me, right? I feel like as a casual spectator, you'd be watching and like, ah! Also, like, I'll even tag her. So there's, I don't know if this is a real person. If you're a real person, then I have a weird view of reality. I mean, come on, I do think I have a weird reality that I'm going through, right? But on YouTube, LTF Melanie, and so I'll like try to comment to her this part, but she was saying like happens to also be from the Netherlands and maybe is making up for how mean Stephanie Houston was to me. I don't know though. She could, I don't actually trust anybody. But what I'm trying to get at is like, she left a comment and I said something about like it's almost like you can see like an interaction going on, and that would be newsworthy. And she said, responded with something like, and then I'm just paraphrasing all this, like front page newsworthy and then some emoji, and it's like, yeah, like especially when I see on the local news like random homeless guy who has a nickname that people know this guy is like gas can whatever Bill is back, panhandling over here, and I'm like, all right, that's a big bird. You can probably see that on the GoPro. It's a very large bird. Like this is clearly fucking news, right? Maybe you can't show the part of me swearing. I mean, you probably could. It's just the reality of the situation. But like, yeah, this is clearly news. If I'm interacting consistently with storms in a way that like, nobody else in the world seems to be doing something like this. I also seem to just be making sense of like Christianity in a way that most, again, I can't even get Patrick Kelly at West End Church. I don't even know if he's the pastor there anymore, but I couldn't even get him to, like, when I brought up, hey, you should say the name Yahweh. It's like, immediately, like, told me I'm arrogant and that, like, mocked how large my Bible was. I had one of the Jerusalem Bibles, that actually says the name Yahweh in it instead of Lord, which is an inappropriate mistranslation. And, like, so if that's the case, that and so I'm making, I believe, I mean, it seems obvious to me, making more sense out of a lot of these Christian concepts that are like shrouded in mystery. It's like, not really. Like the whole in the beginning was the word thing, and like from John 1 through 5 or 6. And it's like, yeah, it's just because in Hebrew, when Elohim says be light or let there be light, he says be light. Exist light. Well, the word for exist is literally his name, and so it would also be who Jesus is claiming to be. So, like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You'd have to, like, yeah. Or, like, here's another example. Whenever I see people being baptized in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I think when it's saying that, it's saying baptize them in the name of Yahweh. Because that's the name of the Father. Duh. I mean, I even heard Sam Shamoon talking about this to like some guys from Isaiah 63. It's like it very clearly is the name of the Father. Again, I think it's the name of the Son also from Jeremiah 23, 5, and 6. It's pretty easy to argue that the righteous branch of David is going to be that son from Psalm 2, right? And of the Holy Spirit, it's the Spirit of Yahweh. So it's like very, it's Yahweh, right? It's not, the Trinity isn't the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. The Trinity is Yahweh, right? You get that? I mean, the Trinity isn't even used in the Bible as like a word. So all this defense of the Trinity stuff, how about y'all defend Yahweh, the name of the deity we follow, right? If you're Christian, if you're Muslim, you follow a different El or Allah, or I mean, they don't call him Elohim, but it's you follow a different L, right? It's pretty obvious that it's using the generic title. Getting deep into this. And even more, it just seems like a giant, like, I brought up Evangelion earlier. It just seems like some kind of giant mecha. If you want to talk about anything that's a mecha, I mean, literally a mecha, like in, the Japanese have mechas, M-E-C-H-A, as opposed to M-E-C-C-A or M-A-K-K-A-H or something. That like mecha, the idea of Islam is just a false religion, doesn't follow Yahweh, follows another L that's asserted itself over the narrative of Yahweh and is trying to take it, right? Yeah. I keep saying right, but it's like I'm telling you, right? Here's what I'm gonna do. We're at an hour and 30 minutes. I'm gonna run down with the fan and just, if I feel like it seems like the GoPro is gonna overheat, or if it already has, I'm gonna change the battery, and then I'll be right back. Because once you lose the GoPro, you lose like the wide field of view, and that's super problematic, I think. I just ended up putting the fan under it. Still has battery, and it was not off, so it's good. Another thought I had is I saw a video. I mean, I've had this thought before of like Taylor Swift's boyfriend, like, you know, my Twitter recommended for you thing. Like it was Taylor Swift's new boyfriend, Maddie Healy. Maddie. I mean, again, a lot of this just feels like I'm being watched and poked by celebrity, and like they're trying to, I don't know, elicit reactions, and then I'm just in this spot where it's like I don't really have. I mean, I guess if there's a Truman Show type thing, or if in fact I am able to prove out like I'm talking about what I'm talking about, then maybe it flips. But until that point, I don't really have the agency to like engage at celebrity. I mean, there does seem to be enough response when I do to where I'm like, okay, you're clearly watching, but and you're clearly trying to make points towards me or something. Even though, like, I think people have wronged me, and like you making points towards me, like you become the bad guys. Like it doesn't really matter. Like they're the bad guys, and instead of helping, you're like making your points towards me for whatever reason. It's like you become the bad guy, right? You get that instead of like, well, let me be a helpful, good person. And a lot of these people are the same type of people talk about kindness all the time, and it's like, well, why don't you be kind? Because it does not seem like you're being kind. But like with Taylor Swift, it's like she broke up with her boyfriend and then is with a new guy named Maddie. And then I just saw a video of like him making out with a fan or like kissing a fan during a show, and it's like, okay, I mean, you can be secure in your sexuality, but it also just like, is he just in the closet and like, you know, she's pretending that they're in a relationship, and is that a lot of what like celebrity relationships it seems like are? And it's like, you know, to the women, okay, how about this? To fix that problem I was talking about earlier where I can't get the Christians, and, you know, I've been a pretty decent ally to everybody, I think. Why don't all the L's of the LGBTQ, it's like, you know, or the B's that are whatever, can you help me? Like, fix this problem and get enough, like, influence to wield that I can fix this problem for not just myself but other people, and then the people who are being terrible, seemingly, it's like they are actually in the wrong and this can be fixed, and then probably if you're helping me and like, you know, I am the dude on the throne of Yahweh, right? It probably then helps whatever your cause is, because then whatever evangelical Christian groups that don't even say the name Yahweh, like, it's like, well, okay, but the rainbow flag people are helping me more than you guys are, and you guys are claiming to be Christians. They got a rainbow flag. So like, what? I mean, I don't, and that triggers you. So like, what is? You get it? Like, okay. Do the L's from the LGBTQ? I mean, obviously you like women, but you want to join my harem? I mean, and help me out here. And the bees that are women, and then the bees that are men. I mean, you can help too. They're eunuchs, right, or something. I mean, I guess you don't have to be a eunuch, but you know, whatever it says. And to the Christians, do you see why this would be a problem? Like, if I had to recruit people who you're like actively warring against, and like what I'm saying, I mean, it would make sense to me what I'm saying. If I was hearing it from someone, I'm like, yeah, that probably would fix this problem, because it would hold like every group inner accountable or something. You know what I mean? Or at least Christians. I mean, I'm more frustrated with Christianity, like not even saying the name Yahweh. I mean, how do you not say the name of the God that you follow? That is a. Someone tried to argue that with me on like a YouTube comment, and I'm just like, it's literally banned from Catholic liturgy, and like, you know, that inspiring philosophy video where he's like, yeah, some Orthodox Jews asked me not to say the holy name, so I just won't say it. And like, I mean, I see it in certain things because it's hard to avoid it if you're doing like an actual like scholarly overview or like just intelligent overview of the biblical narrative. It's literally the narrative of Yahweh. It's hard to. I don't see how you can take the most used word out of the Old Testament and like replace it with anything that actually equates to it because you can't. So. But yeah. Also, I mean, the G's could help me too, but just don't expect, uh, you know, put it in my butter for me to put it in your butt. But the L's, I'd put it in an L in a lesbian butt. This just took a turn for the weird, and I like it. Anyway, all right, we'll give it a little longer. I mean, it's still raining. It actually feels like it. Sounds like it's kind of picked up again. I mean, a little more than it was. But so I don't think, you know, there could still be lightning, is what I'm getting at. And so yeah, Taylor Swift. If you're just lying about your relationship, or you know, a lot of the women that I seem to be looking at on the gram, and then that appear to be like looking back and trying to signal at me in different ways. A number of whom, I mean, it feels like they're trying to like poke at me and make me feel, I don't know, odd, off, uncomfortable. I mean, if you actually just want to engage me, I mean, I think there's going to be a point where you're probably going to have to. So, like, why don't you just, you know, do that? It would probably look better on your character if it wasn't like a forced thing where, where like, you know, I have to get into a position of like, oh hey, there's this guy in Houston with lightning stuff. It's just like, well, you're already watching, so why don't you fucking just engage me like, you know, in a kind fashion. Always all about kindness. When you're the most powerful, like, infinitely intelligent, wise thing, I think probably part of it is you realize, like, you gotta be kind. Man, I love Yahweh. Like, just wonderful sense of humor, in my opinion. Like, notice there wasn't like a ton of lightning that's been going on and stuff. It's just like, you know, seemingly in coordination with the thing that I'm saying. And that was the most spectacular lightning thus far that I think I've seen. I don't know, maybe I missed something. I'll see it afterwards, but when I go over the video and timestamp it. But I mean, that looked pretty incredible. That was like multifaceted. That might even be better than that one lightning strike from August 18th of 2022. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I would just suggest you don't want to be caught out as hypocrites, because it's not like you can't just like worm your way back in, like to not being a hypocrite. Like, you don't want to be historically a hypocrite, right? Does that make sense? I mean, I don't want to be, so I'm trying not to be, but it's like pretty much impossible for all these people who it very clearly looks like you're watching me to not be hypocrites, like without, Alessandra Ambrosio. Probably the time to reach out was like a while ago, unless you are actually Jezebel. Then, I mean, it makes sense. That's why I think high-level candidate for in Jezebel. But, Emily Radikowska, Radikowski, but apparently it's pronounced Radikowska. Her too, and I've said all sorts of names in these. I don't have to I don't have to say them all again. I already did that experiment. I guess I could do it again sometime, but not right now. I just find Alessandra Ambrosio very attractive. So, a little disappointing if she's Jezebel. Much rather her be best friend and wife and, whatever, lover. I'm about to say honey boo boo, but but if she's Jezebel, it ends up working in my favor too. I would just rather, it be someone else. But if that's how Yahweh had to play it, I mean, who am I to judge? Well, the guy that Yahweh chooses to be on his throne with him, and Jesus. Well, the guy that Jesus chooses to be on Yahweh's throne with them. But to do that, I gotta conquer the churches, and the fourth church is the one with Jezebel. So, if I gotta, Alessandra's gotta be Jezebel. I mean, damn. But how about you leave that for Adriana Lima? And how about you not be Jezebel? That'd be great. Okay, thanks. Preach. Also, hold on. Okay, so like, here's an example of kind of like one of the things that I'm talking about, where it's like, so some random, I think like a scammer, some like random, they had like a saying, alaye something, that when I looked it up, it seemed to be like a way that scammers communicate to each other or something. But the what was I saying? Okay, so like it was something like it was like a fake account of some woman who, and this is it's on my Instagram stories, so like the story is still there. I think if you want to go to the highlight, Instagram.com/Wattmilkins, WATTMILKINS, just like the YouTube channel, but you know, YouTube.com/@Wattmilkins. Anyway, so this person was messaged me like, have you ever considered or heard about it or considered like a sugar mommy experience or something? And I was like, uh, I responded with like, yeah, I was really hoping Alessandra Ambrosio and Beyonce and all the other celebrity women that you know that I like would like be my sugar mommies and uh, you know something like that, be my sugar mommies, and then like fingers crossed, uh, like smiling emoji with the halo over it. Um, and then like so I responded with that, but I took a picture of it and like because I just thought it was I thought it was funny, and then tagged Alessandra Ambrosio and Beyonce under it, and then you know put it up as my story under the picture, and so they were tagged in it, and Alessandra apparently viewed the story, um, uh, which which I thought was funny. So then I made another story, which I also tagged her in, where it's like the thinking emoji and like looking up at the fact that she's watched it again. I think you know. I'm assuming some kind of Truman Show like thing is going on, or that movie Nerve, where it's like almost a modern form of the Truman Show that's like social media related. But it turns out that like so this is either a chicken or the egg thing. So like you know I posted those, and then like the next day or like within a couple of days, she was doing a like I'm trying to think what fashion is in the CR fashion book or something, but like um, I don't know, one of the fashion houses X, so like collab with Beyonce, and like one of the you know one of the models that was modeling this attire was uh, Alessandra Ambrosio, and so I'm like, did I you know is it like ESP because it seems like I do that a lot type thing, or was it like because I had said that she's now doing like modeling the collab, like Beyonce's collab for whatever. You know, one of them is true, right? Like it's not like I knew that this was going to happen, that she was going to be modeling this uh, this thing, unless unconsciously I did because it seems like you know I think Yahweh just sets things up like that for me. Um, like he knows everything. It's not even ESPN. ESPN. It's not even ESP for him. It's just like he just knows. And all right, let me just guide Matt here. and then like, puts me in the right place at the right time to say whatever or whatever. I don't know, but it does seem pretty interesting that like, you know, right after I had posted about it. She's doing some like Beyonce collab. I even still have the picture. It's not quite in the picture and stories yet on my thing. I haven't really added anything into the main story yet. There's just stuff that could go into it, but and the reason I haven't added anything, well, one of the reasons is like, I thought I did a pretty good job advertising my mix in my own private photo gallery, which that's some funny shit to me, but like where like Hailey Bieber is wearing this Got Milk shirt, and it's like, well, why do I think Hailey Bieber's wearing a Got Milk shirt? Like, what is the thing? Is it possibly that I like art, the DJ stuff, the music, or whatever, like the dubstep stuff or whatever? I do it as Milkins, and the more recent mix at the Got Milk thing, and I've made lots of jokes, like Homelander style jokes, where is Homelander like, what is this? Is this about me? I do like milk. But that was also when I like went in and I got deep in. But damn, that was cool looking. What am I, Homelander, gonna like cut you in half with my eye lasers, with my lightning from the sky? If I had eye lasers, maybe I do. I don't know. Who knows what being Yahweh on the throne entails? I mean, I would assume everything, literally. But maybe it just starts off as like maybe in the actual Joker, and then, or I'm sorry, that's TM, that's trademarked. But the Joker isn't, and that's mine. So maybe in the actual Joker, and like, or the Yoka. If you're English, it's just a joke. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, it starts off as you're just some yoker, I mean, the real one, and then like by the end of it, you're basically like, well, Yahweh on the throne. I mean, I don't think Superman has a chance. I think Yahweh could literally just like, it's not. It doesn't even become a physical battle for Yahweh. Yahweh is just like already so far ahead of the game because he made it all. Yeah, this is gonna be a cool video to go over. I really hope the GoPro's still on, which I think it is, but I really hope it's still on. It's been doing this thing where it's like overheating because it's almost summer in Houston. It's just warmer, and but also because GoPro 10 and 11 compared to 9, because they have a processor that is like, the thermals were allowed to like go way higher than they should be. It just overheats a lot. And seriously, GoPro, you have to fix this. I would rather that you fix the thermals than that you add more resolutions at this point, because like it's super annoying. I'm pretty sure most people who use the GoPro would say, yeah, I'd rather be able to record for 60 minutes without worry or something at the resolutions that are already available than like adding resolutions that you can't even put up anywhere public yet, really. Like, some people might want those resolutions, I guess professionals, and then you can make professional versions that have 15-minute batteries or something. But for the average consumer, like, please, man, fix the thermals. Don't let them get so out of whack. Like, 20 minutes and then dying if there's no airflow, that's a problem, all right? And be said. And I've said it before, but I'm saying it again. It has to be said. I don't know. I honestly don't want to record a 3-hour video, especially when it looks like the model, which I know I was talking about the model not being that accurate earlier, but it looks like. Also here, if I do something like this, I mean, it's like a change in how my muscles are, right? And then you see some kind of flash of lightning. It's like, I don't think it always has to be that I have my foot down, like this or whatever, It's some kind of change in whatever. But it seems to be, I don't know. If there's some kind of circuit thing, it could be it. I don't know. Anyway. But yeah, the model seems to think that there's going to be stuff today, later. I guess, yeah, I wanted to say tomorrow, but it's already 3:02. So later today, like at 3 p.m. So also, I found another thing that if I'm, one of the things that I do at the window now at night is like, when I get here, I like really like press in and pry, and I'm just like prying. It feels like I'm prying open whatever is like not like stretching open or something. Whatever is here that is like too tight or too, I don't know, not engaged, and so like prying it open engages it or something. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but it feels good. It feels right. It feels like the right move. I mean, a lot of this, this related stuff seems to be connected to what I think is going on here and elsewhere down the chain or up the chain. But I think Yahweh can just be symbolically linking it. But it could be, I guess it could be an electrical circuit thing, or it could be a key thing, like a key, vital energy, prana, whatever thing, kai, whatever you want to say. Or, I think, again, Yahweh just controls it all. So whichever one it is, I still think Yahweh like already worked out what it's going to do or what it's going to be or how it's going to lay out. Anyway. Infinitely intelligent. I already said this. You already saw. Also, I think it'd be cool if like Channel 13 has cameras up that like face downtown and uptown, and I think there's two things that I think just these two thoughts. There's probably more things that could be done, but if they were 4K, just like the best quality they could possibly be 4K. I mean, you know, for YouTube or whatever, but that's pretty much 4K at this point. I mean, reasonably. And then, because you can't really like, most people don't have 8K screens. I mean, I don't have an 8K screen, so, but I mean, better. It helps in every situation, I think. But 4K is like reasonably, I think, a good standard because been there for a bit, and we're gonna be there for a while before I think we actually like as a society move to the next higher whatever definitions. But like 4K cameras, and like when storms come about, you can do like these videos where you combine the two views, or I think if you got 4, and then you can make each of them like 1080, and you can literally have like, just like I'm doing with these videos, you can do combined views of these storms, and you can put them up, like post them for people to see. Or, you know, if Channel 2 or Channel 11 or Channel 26 wanted to do that, or the other channels, just kind of the main broadcasting affiliate channels here, Channel 2, Channel 11, Channel 13, Channel 26, and it kind of changed over time. There were some other ones that were, you know, decently popular, but these days it's mostly those 4. And then obviously like PBS, Channel 8, and Spanish language programming. You know, I wouldn't complain. Whoever wants to do it can do it. Just like I'm saying with webcams to Mexico. It's like, why do you not have 4K cameras on El Popo? Like, look at how many, they got so many new viewers when, not going to be able to grab that as it comes in. They got so many new viewers with all this new activity at El Popo. Like, I mean, I feel like the investment in, like, at least one 4K webcam looking at El Popo looking at El Popo in high quality would be, because right now actually the best, highest quality web camera that looks at El Popo is not even webcams de Mexico, it's Mouse on TV, which is not the same as webcams de Mexico. So I think webcams de Mexico is like literally the Mexican government, or, you know, it's like they work with the Mexican government or something. Like, it would stand to reason, like, throw up some 4K web cameras, and also stop duplicating streams. Instead of having like 30 streams, instead of having like 30 streams of the same view of El Popo, have more permanent streams. Just suggestions. Just suggestions. I think they're reasonable, but just suggestions. For example, there were like 10 streams of the view from Telemachus, I think that's how you say it, open, when it was doing its activity, and like one stream had like 8,000 people, one stream had like 2,000 people, one stream had like 500 people, one stream had like 4,000 people, one stream had like, and it added up to like 20,000 people were watching. But, you know, the most on any one of the streams maybe like, I said 10,000, but it's like 8 to 10,000. And it's like, instead, you might have a stream with like 25,000, and then that gets more recommended to people because more people are watching one stream, and so it's like more. What am I trying to say? I don't know, the algorithm values it more, but you know, I'm not sure how YouTube's algorithm exactly works. Maybe just making new streams is how they feel they can best game YouTube's algorithm. I don't know. That has some cool, like, I'm gonna add to that. And one of the reasons I started doing this is just like it's uncomfortable, and so I do this anyway. This kind of like these kind of stretches and stuff. I'm just like, like especially at nighttime now, I'm pretty much trying to rehab it every night almost, but or whatever it is that I'm doing to fix it. But one of the things I was just doing this during one of these storms, and I was like, did that lightning just happen when I got like I hit the point where I could really feel like I was getting into it, and it was like, as soon as I hit that point is when the lightning happened, and I was like, did that just? And so I kind of like did it a couple more times, and it was that night it was really like seemingly like right on it, and so I think that was a hint to me to like, hey, this is what you should be. Figure out a way to like capture yourself in this fashion, like record yourself while you're recording things, and then you can show what you're doing, and then it can maybe even more evolve from like, okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be ordered like, hey, every time I put my foot down like this, it's gonna be like this, though Yahweh can use that, but like, a lot of the stuff where it seems like I'm interacting. I've said in the past with the storm, I mean, I feel like it's pretty obvious it's with Yahweh at this point, but I guess probably all of creation, like, is follows Yahweh, it knows who Yahweh is. Even inanimate, non-living stuff. Deep down. Not like people knows, but that's why when people are like, nah, there's nothing, it's like even more confusing because like it's really obvious. What did all this just exploded out of nothing? I mean, that's actually what science tells you. It's like, okay, sure, yeah, everything exploded out of nothing. That sounds significantly less comprehensible and less logical than some deity, an hyper intelligent, hyper powerful, like infinitely intelligent, powerful entity that exists outside of time that can exist inside of time. Whatever, I'm not going to try to like explain this all out, but that this being spoke everything into existence. I mean, that actually makes more sense than, yeah, it all just exploded out of nothing. Like, really, you believe it exploded out of nothing? You believe that over something that makes considerably more logic? Okay, you just don't want this to make sense then. That's what I'm getting from that. check the radar. We'll see what's going on in 10 minutes. That'll be 2 hours and 30 minutes on this camera. And because the way I'm starting the video this time is just when this camera starts. You know, this was already recording, but I'm going to cut from the point that this camera starts. Same thing with the GoPro. So it should all be, I shouldn't have to timestamp 3 different things. That'll save me a lot of time, actually. It'll save me like a couple hours. Hopefully the GoPro is still on. But I guess, do I have any thoughts to wrap this up with? There's been some really good lightning in this video. We haven't actually really had a storm like this since the beginning of May. Or, you know, a few days, you know, like 10 days into May or something, but this last part of May, there wasn't anything really that came through that was like this, so this is nice. And then I think there's probably going to be more tomorrow. And if that's the case, I guess I'll record more tomorrow if I feel up to it. Yahweh, you have anything? Oh, we already said enough. But completely welcome to give us another display of incredible lighting. That'd be cool. You want me to flirt with Alessandra Ambrosio some more with the lighting in the sky? Huh? Huh? Like, if the camera wasn't on, at this point in my night, I would be here doing this, pretty much the same thing. So, I've been doing a lot of push-ups and pull-ups and sit-ups and Bulgarian split squats too, and just like all sorts of stuff. Actually, we went a little overboard on the pull-ups and push-ups. So last night, my back is so sore. Barely sleepless. But it does feel like I'm making progress on this leg. Like it feels like it's opening up. Or, you know, whatever, the muscles developing more from gaining the ability to like plant into the ground right, or whatever you want to say, whatever it is. It's like all of those things. Oh, ow. Here. I'm just sitting down on the bed and like engaging right into the ground. This is something I could do when I'm sitting down. Just try to press in and engage this portion. Try to like pry it open. It kind of feels like, honestly. think this is pretty interesting. I mean, I don't know, not that interesting. I keep seeing like, I don't know, like smoke looking whatever around where the lamp post is. And I'm realizing, oh, I think it's so warm on the bottom that it's like evaporating. It's like literally steaming the water as it's hitting the street light. I thought they were LEDs, but maybe they're like really powerful LEDs. I don't know. But it definitely looks like a fine mist or steam, like right around the light itself, finer than the raindrops around it. And I was guessing it was because of what I was saying, but maybe not. I could probably just go look, but I don't really care that much. So it's still raining, obviously, but it does seem a lot in videos, even as I said this earlier. It's like waiting towards the end. There's like, you know, I don't want to end this and then go down as and in the GoPro and right then just. I do think that would be hilarious. Like Yahweh would do that just to be like, gotcha. But at the same time, I also think he'd be like, no, I won't. Only I might do that a little bit, but you know, I wouldn't too much. Anyway, so like part of me wants to just end it, but part of me is like, oh. I feel like Yahweh likes to be unexpected. Or, you know, he likes to be expected, but then just does things that, like, oh, okay. So, spontaneous, I guess. So, even though there hasn't been lightning in a bit, it's like, you know, like I said, that's a lot of the time when you see some stupid, spectacular, like, I mean stupid, but like crazy, like really vivid, wild, spectacular lightning is like near the very end when everything's gone and it's been gone. Like it's just the residuals of the whatever's left. Like, a lot of times in the videos I'm like, you know, if I'm just patient and have faith and then wait, and then so like just a little bit later in the video and then BAM! So it does stand to reason that you know, could happen. But I also don't want this to be 3 hours long. It's already 2.5 hours long. That's like plenty long. I gotta rewatch this. I gotta put this together, export it, render it, upload it, then timestamping it is literally at least 2.5 hours. And I don't know, for every timestamp, it takes like anywhere from like a few seconds to a few minutes to like get it down right, exactly like I want. And it can take a long time to like timestamp videos. So then if there's videos tomorrow, it's just like, maybe I should just end it. So that's what I think I'm going to do. But give me a moment. I mean, if you're watching, this is after the fact. So you're not really giving me any moments, huh? Or I guess you're giving me your time by watching, and, you know, cool, thanks. But you're Alessandra Ambrosio and you're watching. You know, I mouthed call me, but you know, I guess text me first or DM me or something. I probably would not pick up the phone just because I don't. If it's for the most part, if like the phone doesn't know who it is, I guess. I mean, if you're not in my contacts, I guess if it pops up with if it popped up with like Alessandra or Ambrosio, comma Alessandra, and that was like what the phone company was saying it was or whatever. It's like, okay, well maybe, but oh, it's a possum. I was like, what's that running across the yard? It was a possum. Look at all this. That's what I'm saying. Also, channel 11. Set your bitrate higher. I shouldn't have to say this in every video. Because it definitely feels like people are watching. Set your bitrate higher, please. Can't tell whenever there's like stuff on that's happening on the KHOU11 YouTube stream of the radar. You can't tell what's going on because the bitrate is too low. Even if the resolution's high enough, when the bitrate's too low, it starts to artifact and look bad. You have like lots of everything goes fuzzy, right? All looks pixelated. I'm pretty sure that's the bitrate is too low on whatever computer is streaming the radar. Look, this is for Channel 11's benefit. You see, when it gets too busy on the Channel 11 stream, everything gets blurry and pixelated. And I'm pretty sure it's the bitrate, alright? And, you know, just doing my bit to help out. I feel like someone has to fix it. I mean, it definitely feels like people are watching, right? So, whoever has that responsibility, can you like just go in and change that setting, turn that up? You don't probably have to have it as high as I have it, because I have it for 4K recording. But you know, it's set to be able to record like high quality 4K things like that you can see here. It's not, you know, the webcam isn't the super highest quality, but when it's all put together, if I'm recording the game, I want it to look good. So, you know, I do it like that. If the bitrate was super low, you wouldn't be able to see what I was doing, right? Same thing with the radar. You go through the trouble of putting the radar up, why don't you just up your bitrate a bit, right? I'm pretty sure these are watched. You know, I have someone commenting from the Netherlands, but even then, like, obviously, it definitely feels like some kind of Truman Show-like thing. So, like, you know, probably doesn't look great that this issue hasn't been addressed. Like, it seems really easily addressable and would look a lot more professional. Let's represent Houston well, okay? Right. Alright, we're at 2 hours and 41 minutes, but I'm pretty much done. So I'm gonna go get the camera. It looks like it's gonna rain for a while. It looks like most of the lightning is gone offshore, like past Galveston, off into the Gulf of Mexico. And that there hasn't been particularly that much lightning over us, but that there could be. Like, I think there could still be, like, that it's still possible, but I just don't see that it's currently playing out like that it's going to be super active. Again, I think Yahweh does have a pretty good sense of humor, so he could make something nuts happen. But, like, I'm not going to count on that. I'm going to count on, I don't want a 3-hour plus long video, and then, like, I just don't want to sit here for however long and just, like, make this more of a thing than I have to. Especially if I have one, if I'm going to be recording one tomorrow, and then maybe, like, technically not tomorrow, but the day afterwards, so Monday morning in the AM. It looks like there's more. It could be on the way then. So. And I'm currently, like I said, working on that compilation, which already entails me literally going through all of the combined view videos from the past, you know, I guess in 2023 that I've done. And the goal is to get all the really compelling examples and put it all into one thing and just be like, look, if you click this and you see this and you don't think that there's something going on, you're lying or you're delusional, because it should be so obvious, like, you know, you can't pretend that it's not going on. I mean, I guess you could, but then that would probably be the point that Yahweh starts getting. Like, you know, we'll probably ratchet it up from there. So, you know, whatever. It's in any instance, I'm just going to keep having faith in Yahweh. So, yeah. Yo. Alright, I'm going to go down and get the GoPro. Okay, hopefully there wasn't just some, or won't be, just some, like, insanely incredible lightning that would have been perfect to catch on the GoPro, but now is not, because the GoPro is no longer up. So, I'm going to end this here. gonna end this here. There's some things that I know. I feel like I started talking about them, and like I never finished my thought, or like I didn't finish it in a way I guess that engaged it. Like, for example, the Taylor Swift thing. Like, I mean, I might have even like, you know, saw a video of her boyfriend kissing a fan at a thing, and it's like, I mean, maybe he's bi or something, but you know, maybe she's bi, maybe she, you know, whatever. But you know, I don't know if I ever finish a thought, and that might happen in like the whole thought that I was having at the time. It might happen, and like sometimes when I watch it over, I'm like, oh man. But whatever. I hope you enjoyed. I mean, I think there's probably some really incredible stuff in this video, as far as like the lightning is concerned, and you know, whatever. Especially in, like, okay, if it was just a GoPro view, you know, still cool. Like, it catches some incredible lightning. But then the idea of the combined view, the narrative, is like, it seems it's obvious to me there's interaction going on with me and the storm, or me and what I think. The thing that controls the storm, Yahweh, I guess if he's the spirit and he's inside of us, well, you know, I don't even have to like more like, but you know, I do think that it adds a lot, and if you want the view without me talking, hey, I've been not even saying yo at the beginning of at the GoPro videos. It's just whatever the sounds are outside. So if you're offended, you know, Taylor Swift or Alessandra Ambrosio or Beyonce or who else did I? You know, ladies, if you're offended, DM me and let's talk. If you're the Catholic Church and you're offended, you know, I don't see how you can pretend to be a universal church of a deity and then remove the name of the deity that you follow from your worship services. Doesn't seem like. I think once you do that, you're like, it falls apart. So I don't actually think I've said anything that bad other than in relation to that. Other than like, you know, calling out some BS. I don't know if that was thunder or a train. It's just a train. You know, whatever. Any other, like, I don't really care. Like, I think what I'm saying is truthful, and like, you know, if the truth hurts, then it's hard to pretend to be the institution of the deity of truth. So, let's see, what else? You know, I misspoke. If I've misspoken about someone, okay, but like, it doesn't seem like it. So, you know, and by okay I mean, alright, well, prove it to me, and I'll, you know, let's talk it out, and if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. I mean, I'm not above that, but yeah. Anyway, alright, I'm gonna end this video here. I hope you've enjoyed. This one. Later. Yeah. Alessandra Ambrosio, call me. Call me. I mean, DM me. DM me. Here, alright. Later, have a nice one. Yeah. Alright. Yeah. All right. This is gonna be the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed, and I think got some pretty cool uh, lightning and like some compelling. I think there's some compelling interaction. It appears, I mean, to a thinking, rational being, that it looks like there's some interaction going on there, to say the least. And so, I'm gonna start moving everything over and get this ready. I mean, it's about to be 4 in the morning, and I think that there's another, like, we can check the model. In fact, you can just check the model with me at this point. Um, okay, yeah, that's pretty accurate for right this moment. Let's see the 6Z. Oh, well, maybe not. Oh, looks like we might get a little something. I don't know. So, like, I'll say this. It did seem to think something earlier. Like last night, it thought something would be here around 4 a.m. or 2, 3, 4 a.m., which it got that pretty correct. But like like at the hour the storm was like at College Station, like moving towards Navasota pretty quickly, the HRRR had no clue what to do with it. So like if we go back, what was it? The two, like look, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. It's not even there. Like there's nothing over Houston, right? It just thought it disappeared. And now when you get obviously closer, you get the 6Z and it's like, yeah, that's definitely something, right? What about this one? I mean, yeah, it was just too late, but you know, whatever. They're just models. Um, Here we'll have it go through a cycle. We'll see what's coming up. I mean, like one thing I've noticed is like certainly the Panhandle and like West Texas, it has just been storm after storm after storm after storm after storm. Like just a line of storms pops up, and then like the next day another line of storms, and then the next day another line of storm. Like it's almost like what it's doing here, except hey, this almost looks like they get less of it this time because it only starts up here. But like, I mean, there's just been a lot of weather there, and let's see what else is going on. Interesting weather elsewhere, but anyway, I just want to confirm. And when you look at what's going on over Houston, at least here, this doesn't seem to think that we're going to get another. I mean, I don't know. At 8 p.m. on, go back to this one. See, so there's all this stuff around us, and then it just dissipates. That, I don't know, that didn't happen in tonight's. So maybe Monday at 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., we might get something. Okay, well, whatever happens, if I can record it'll be Lightning Lab number 4 or whatever. This is a good Lightning Lab number 3. So I'll keep it going for 1 more minute, so it'll be exactly 3 hours long. Um, I hope you enjoyed. Alessandra, get at me. Uh, or wait, this one. Um, anyway, yeah, I don't really have anything else to add. So, you enjoyed. Have a blessed one. I'm gonna keep doing these. Look, it's almost 3 hours also, so perfect. All right. That's it. I do like the ambush X Reese's Puffs in the back there. It even goes with the art that I have. All right.
Yeah. When it's over look at which lips it's over. Huh. It's pretty funny. All right. Later. Yeah.